Today's the day we answer the question, who would win in a battle? Bugs Bunny in a Santa hat or this dolphin? If you can only visit one of Australia's best theme parks, do you go to Warner Brothers Movie World, famous for things from the movies? Or do you head to their crosstown rivals, SeaWorld, famous for things from the sea? This is Movie World versus SeaWorld. So, to help you make your decision next time you're on Queensland's Gold Coast and have to choose one, Indiana and Connor Lane will take you to both parks, not one at a time, but concurrently, which means at the same time, pretty much.
Oh my god, that's real.
Oh, that's a real pelican. There's real pelicans. And as Indiana's arrived at the first ride of the day, let the battle begin. Movie World is off to a flyer with a 0 wait time for Justice League 3D. Now, in the name of transparency, this was completely due to good luck and not good management. The Movie World app had this ride listed as not operating as we entered the park, but for some inexplicable reason, I wanted to see for myself. And at that moment, the ride was back up again and reopened. Did this experience set unrealistic expectations for the rest of the day? You better believe it did, but there's still no better way to start than with a walk on. Movie World gets a point. The theming for Justice League 3D is some of the best in the park. I mean, you walk into the same Hall of Justice that I used to watch as a kid, so that's awesome before you even get to the ride.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great Hall of Justice.
As you can see here, the scale of the entrance area is awesome, and the granite statues of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, again, are probably the coolest in the entire park. For me, it's the theming that's the best part of this ride. For Indiana and Connor Lane, it's the shooting stuff with lasers. There are screens around the Hall of Justice with breaking news of an alien invasion. Despite not having any alien fighting experience, Cyborg tells Batman that we're really good at it, which Batman accepts a little too willingly for the world's greatest detective, and loads us into tactical assault vehicles.
I'm teleporting you to Metropolis. Supergirl and Wonder Woman need your help.
Turns out the alien leading the attack is classic Justice League villain Starro, who first showed up in comic book form back in 1960 and has returned from time to time ever since. Our job is to shoot hundreds of Starro spores who've turned the humans into some sorts of zombies. Again, the girls are all about the laser pointer blasters you get when you board the ride. And I could honestly just sit there and watch the animatronic characters appearing from all sorts of places throughout this amazing, massive set.
How many stars can a... Hold on. There's evil Batman people. That's not Batman, that's Superman. I mean, Superman who had a star thing on his face and turned evil. Sorry. Keep going. How many stars can, like, a supervillain, like, bring down to the Earth? Like, they're really invading here. Yeah. Hi, Starro. Bye, Starro.
The more Starro spores you shoot, the higher you score.
And it's the Justice League, and we won.
So while my individual score was the lowest, Indy's attitude is right. And as a group, we won.
Dad looks pretty concerned.
That's Dad, that's me. Well, that was a fun ride. I was scared, but I did it.
Did you enjoy it once you did it?
Yes, but I'm still kind of shaking.
You're shaking?
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty frightening situation. There was a lot of crazy stars attacking everyone. Oh, it's back working again. There's another ride that the app said was out of action when we arrived. The DC Rivals Hypercoaster. Which is a pretty big deal if it goes down. It's the tallest and fastest coaster in the Southern Hemisphere. And for international coaster fans, it's probably Australia's most famous roller coaster. Which is neither here nor there if you're not an extreme coaster fan, because there's no way you'll get on it, but there's no denying it's a big deal, so it's another point for Movie World. As the spot known as Australia's playground, Queensland's Gold Coast is a regular short-stay destination for stacks of Aussies and visitors from overseas. And short stays can mean you have to choose one theme park to visit and you have to squeeze as much into that visit as possible, which means getting to the park for rope drop, which is another way of saying before everything officially opens, which on the Gold Coast shouldn't be too hard because they don't actually open too early.
Crazy. Here they just, they let you through and people walked a lot more slowly. But then in Disney, they let you through and people race.
Well, there's a dolphin. The key to rope dropping successfully is to stay focused on the ride you're heading to first, which is the complete opposite of what I'm doing here. So back on track, we're on our way here to the furthest corner of the park to ride the jewel in SeaWorld's crown and what may be Australia's best themed coaster, Leviathan. Made all the more impressive by the fact that it isn't themed on a licensed intellectual property.
Face the mighty Leviathan to prove your worth. Take the ultimate test and ride.
Just to be clear, the trailer could lead you to believe that Leviathan will actually plunge into the ocean at some point during the ride. That doesn't actually happen. That virtually happens on another SeaWorld coaster that we'll ride later. So stick around for that. But right now we're entering the most spectacular wooden coaster in Australia.
And this is what it looks like. And so now we're walking in.
The height measuring station is wisely placed at the entrance to save you waiting the entire time in the queue, only to be told you're not tall enough to ride. But looking back at the footage now, I reckon we were a bit casual here. Let's go. Indiana was tall enough, but not by a lot. The spiral queue located in the geographic heart of the coaster layout is like a coliseum. You're literally surrounded by tracks where the coaster thunders around you while you wait. Fortunately, this is rope drop, so we can forget about the wait part. As we landed at the front of the queue for Leviathan's second ride of the day, there was only one decision left to make.
And if you're brave enough for that front seat, it's going to be next to the door when you're up there. Enjoy!
Front seat, baby, we're going to do it. Another super cool part of the theming is that as each ride is about to begin, right across the surrounding areas of the park, you hear this horn.
I'm scared.
Now you're scared?
There wasn't crazy noise. Alright, let's go. For the girls, this is their first wooden coaster ride. Boomers and Gen Xers, you probably had one of these at the end of your street growing up. That's obviously a ridiculous exaggeration, but speaking with some of the other Gen X parents at the park, they were all about the nostalgia that riding this wood coaster brought back. The only differences being Leviathan has lap bars, is 53 feet taller, 20 kilometres faster, and 110 years younger. Otherwise, pretty much the same. These aren't made up numbers, by the way. These are the exact differences between the coaster I rode as a kid in the 80s at Luna Park in Melbourne. Literally the oldest continually operating coaster anywhere in the world. It even has a brakeman or brakewoman standing in the middle of the train to bring it to a stop. I can see it doesn't look like it's going that fast, but the beauty of a wooden coaster literally constructed 110 years ago, it doesn't matter what speed you're going, it feels like you are staring death in the face, which in the 80s, we probably were. It does have lap bars now, by the way. Anyway, this 105-foot tall behemoth, supported by 183,000 linear metres of lumber, which I have zero comprehension of, but it's such a cool sounding stat, I had to throw it in there, is ready to roll. Now, we weren't allowed to film on the ride, so you'll notice this front row point of view from Attractions magazine was filmed on a significantly sunnier day. But this is exactly where Connor and I were sitting.
Me and Dad were in the front row, and I was glad I was in the front row because then I could see everything first. Like, I could see the view that you'll see in about 3, 2, 1. There we go. Like, I can see all of the Gold Coast and the rest of the park. And you can see, like, other rides. Just wait for the drops about 3, 2, 1. And that was actually the smoothest bit. The rest is really bumpy. But yeah, going down that big drop was the smoothest part. I was so scared, but turns out I loved it so much. I went on 2 more times in the day, and it was so fun. We were just going like sideways, we were going just everywhere. But like every time I put my hands up, I was so scared that I was gonna hit the wood above us every time I put my hands up. So like I was like up, down, but like this ride made my tummy, it was just at the start of the ride just going up, my tummy was gone. It was so fun. And we had slowed down and stopped. Dun, dun, dun.
We'd watched Coaster Studios' review in anticipation, which prepared us to watch out for one thing in particular.
It's a wooden roller coaster. Typically, the newer it is, the smoother it is. So I had the benefit of riding this thing when it was still like all fresh wood. It ran like a dream. I am curious to see how it'll hold up over time, but I'll get to that a little later.
And so I can confirm Coaster Studios definitely know what they're talking about. We rode Leviathan around its 2nd birthday, and not so smooth, but that took nothing away from the fun. Proof of which, once we got off, we walked straight round to join the back of the line.
That was so fun. It's really very, very, very bumpy, but I love it. That was a really fun ride, but I really wouldn't recommend it if you don't like really big heights because you go up, 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 up.
Shall we go again?
Yes.
And that is an easy point for SeaWorld. So while we wait to ride again, what was on offer in the roller coaster department at Movie World? Pretty much immediately inside the entrance to Warner Brothers Movie World is where you'll find all the park's coasters. Go left and you'll get DC Rivals and the Green Lantern, which is a bit too upside downy for us.
Australia's craziest inverted spin.
Go straight ahead and you'll get the choice of Flash, Speed Force, and the legendary Superman Escape. Now, Connor and I were up for this ride, but we were less up for the 90-minute wait. It's important to keep in mind, Movie World and SeaWorld open from 10 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. They are literally open for less than a standard business hours day, but it's the Gold Coast, so, you know, everyone's pretty relaxed. So with only 7 hours max at the park, long wait times are a serious consideration. If you're going purely to ride roller coasters, perfect. But for us visiting for one day, it was a no-go. So it's controversial, no points for Superman Escape. But I have to add, the theming of this coaster is about the coolest thing ever, because the concept is that Superman is helping you escape an earthquake hitting the Metropolis Rapid Transit subway station. So he's pushing your train to safety. Fast.
I'll push you out of here. Fast. Superman fast.
Oh, we're stopping?
So fast, in fact, you go from 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in 2 seconds. The coolest thing ever part is that moulded to the back of the coaster is a flying Superman. It's probably the simplest thing in roller coaster history, I don't know, but it absolutely looks like Superman is flying, pushing the coaster. Awesome. You know what? I'm giving it a point. Anyway, no sooner had we left the coaster entrance area and headed down Movie World's Main Street than Indiana found her first photo opportunity of the day, which I thought went smoothly. But after we left, there must have been some sort of misunderstanding between the Joker and some guy, because next thing we know, some sort of street fight broke out. Choreographed fight scenes are one of my all all-time favourite theme park things, and I feel like it happens a whole lot less these days. So for keeping classic superhero bust-ups alive, Movie World gets a point. And as for the misunderstanding between this mysterious gentleman and the Joker, I can reassure you the situation sorted itself out and everyone got on their way. At SeaWorld, we're on our way to Dolphin Beach Stadium. Now, this is where the two parks diverge in similarity. In fact, this is where SeaWorld differs from most theme parks around the world, the marine and wildlife. Important side note, SeaWorld Australia and SeaWorld USA, not the same mob. SeaWorld here doesn't have orcas. And our SeaWorld funds their Research and Rescue Foundation that helps marine animal rescue, rehab and release programs. And so, dolphin presentations like this one are both important and amazing for a number of reasons. While featuring Pacific bottlenose dolphins, the show educates the public about species unique to Australia. The snubfin dolphin and the Australian humpback dolphin that aren't found anywhere else in the world and are in danger of extinction. In addition to having some of the most amazing moments we've ever seen, we also learned about specific dolphins who were once sick or stranded and needing expert care who now call SeaWorld home. And so we learned lots. And the part where the dolphins climb out and take over the town didn't happen. Uh-oh. So, that was good.
Jeez, so many dolphins.
And we got close to that famously unique relationship between humans and dolphins. Such a cool show.
She went underwater and stood on their mouths, dived in the other water and then back in. And the girl jumped off their mouths in the air. That was so cool. I thought the same as Connor. It was the best. It was amazing. It was just the greatest thing in the world.
Do you recognise anything about this area?
There's dolphins?
There are dolphins. Any TV shows that you recognise this from? This is where they filmed H20.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's Indy. It's a mermaid show where they turn into mermaids when they touch water. Oh. This is really where they did it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's an Australian show.
Yeah, they all have Australian accents.
They do?
Yeah.
Probably because I'm Australian. But Dad, but how?
So here we are at SeaWorld. This is where we do all of our water stuff. So any of the time we're doing kind of underwater stuff in the sea and all that type of stuff, we actually shoot it here. Today, I actually get to swim with dolphins all day, so it's a pretty rough day for me.
You don't need to have your own international TV series to interact with the dolphins one-on-one either. SeaWorld does offer experience packages at an extra cost, but my advice, book well ahead of your visit, because if you wait till you're in the actual park, there's a pretty good chance that day's experiences will be sold out. The part of the episode where we show you us interacting with the dolphins isn't coming up because I'm that guy who didn't book ahead. So, no extra point for SeaWorld. That's not your fault, SeaWorld. That is 100% my fault.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who they don't let you swim with, though. This girl. SeaWorld is the only place in Australia that you can see a polar bear, and we're super lucky today because of the 3 polar bears who call SeaWorld home. This is the famous Mishka, who was born right here in 2017.
And a baby polar bear called Mishka will make her public debut at SeaWorld on the Gold Coast tomorrow. The almost 4-month-old has been exploring polar bear preschool under the watchful eye of Mum. As you can imagine, Australian-born polar bears are a significant rarity, hence why she is so famous.
A baby polar, a baby polar. Skididdly diddly doo bop, a baby polar.
Meet the newest family member at SeaWorld today.
Yeah. So to see her in person all these years later is a real privilege.
It's so cute. I love it. I want a polar bear as a pet.
Where would they swim in our house? And so without the facilities or training to participate in international polar bear conservation, we agreed to leave it up to the professionals.
There's a cute polar bear, guys. Cute polar bear.
Because with global polar bear numbers continually decreasing, they have slipped into the threatened category under the Endangered Species Act. So the success stories of Mishka, amongst others at SeaWorld, are more important than ever before. At Movie World, the girls are entering the Kids WB zone and heading to a miniaturised version of the Movie World park itself, where you're allowed to drive yourself around in it, which feels like a much safer option than trying this in the full-size version. And we're off. We're not off, we're still in the queue, but we are watching the time. The queue did look chock-a-block, but the app said the wait was only 15 minutes, so we hoped our eyes were deceiving us. They were not. All right, how are we looking?
We're looking good. Or bad. I don't know anymore. We're going to see how far we can get from here to the front of the line.
Well, that was pretty short.
20 minutes later.
Let's go. Thank you.
We are at the finish line and we are about to get on the car.
Okay.
34 minutes. Can I stop it?
Yeah. So the Movie World app was only off by a country mile, but if you can't stand the thought of waiting in lines, then theme parks may not be for you, or you'll just have to buy your own.
Forever it has been my dream to have my very own theme park, so that I could be alone in it all day, every day.
Mr. Cartman, congratulations. The theme park is yours.
Yes!
Then we were ready to race. Very slowly. In fact, it was more of a leisurely Sunday drive, which is a good way of ensuring there were no massive bingles gridlocking the course, forcing them to have to cut the power to all the cars while they fixed a minor disaster. Yet inexplicably, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, by the time the bingle had been cleared, our time was almost up, perfectly demonstrating why someone might purchase their own theme park.
Come on down to Cartman Land now, but don't plan on getting past the parking lot, because remember, so much to do at Cartman Land, but you can't come.
The girls actually loved the junior driving school, and I loved the theming and concept of the miniaturised version of Movie World itself. It's not getting a point, but if your kid's a little or you're a big kid like me, there's a lot to love about it. Something else everyone will love. Guaranteed. Can I guarantee that? It's a guarantee, and in fact, it gets a point straight out of the gate. It's SeaWorld's Reef.
My arms are too short, I can't reach down there to pat them.
Well, then I guess we'll have to come to you then, India. Is what I assume the stingrays thought. As the sign says, you can feed these guys, but obviously that needs to be during designated feeding sessions. Or the rays would be like me when they put on free pizzas at work. We didn't arrive at feeding time, but the rays didn't seem to care. They just wanted to come and say g'day. Their lagoon pool is massive, so when they want some me time, they can obviously head into the middle. But with over 100 different rays, from eagle rays, blue-spotted stingrays, estuary stingrays, and giant shovel-nosed rays, amongst others, there were plenty who just wanted a pat and kept swimming up to anyone happy to help them out. The concept is simple, but the experience is rare. Well and truly one of the most memorable experiences on the Gold Coast, full stop. And conveniently right next door to the Storm Coaster.
This is Vancouver Coast Guard Radio. Any mariners in the area able to assist? Contact the station.
Oh my god, there's a boat that's tipped over. There must have been a storm here. Cars that have tipped over. And there's a ship that's tipped over. just like Leviathan, SeaWorld has gone with another coaster theme unique to the park. Escaping a Category 5 cyclone, which couldn't have worked out better on a day that felt like we were about to be hit by a Category 5 cyclone, which is obviously a ridiculous exaggeration, but as the girls will show you, it was still pretty cyclone-y.
Now we're going up. This is slow to go up. Put like a 1 million years later.
1 million zillion jillion dillion cotillion times later.
And we're about to have the big giant drop. My tummy dropped on every single drop. When we're going really fast, so I put my hands up, the rain felt like tiny bullets in my arm. So yeah, that was really crazy. Okay, that bit was crazy because I felt like it felt kind of like you came off the tracks. Like you were going down, it felt like you were floating, and then you went back on the tracks. Like it was a big bump when you went down.
Normally, authenticity isn't something we'd be looking for in a cyclone-themed ride, but when you're on a roller coaster surrounded by destruction, cars, shipping containers, and an entire ship flipped upside down, a bit of bullet rain felt like it made sense. The splashdown at the end is massive, and a tip for when you get off and are leaving the ride, the viewing platform that you can watch the other boats splash down from will 100% get you drenched, as accidentally demonstrated by me here, which really didn't end up making a lot of difference because bullet rain, which is actually really nice when you're not doing 70 k's an hour. How are we feeling about this drizzly day?
It's okay. It's keeping me cool. Yes.
I agree, I like it too. Some extra dripping at the entrance to Seal Stadium presented a problem for about 1 second, and then we were in to see, you guessed it, the Seals. And I guess few things demonstrate better than stingrays, storm coasters and seals that the SeaWorld experience really isn't impacted by a day of dodgy weather. Or maybe it's just that where we come from, when it rains, it can sometimes lead to snow. So being in Queensland, where it's warm and the rain is more relief than hassle, seems better to us than it really is. Either way, no one steals the show like these big, cheeky sea dogs. In addition to being born entertainers, they educated us on the work I mentioned with the dolphins that the SeaWorld Foundation does in the region to help sea life that find themselves in some strife. Obviously some stuff around managing litter and pollution so it doesn't end up in our oceans and waterways. And some dancing, because seals know how to have a good time. Do what?
That. You go in and you can choose whatever colours you want. I really want to try it. I want it like here. I love so please, wait, let's first our slushy.
All right, let's discuss this over a slushy. Indiana and Connor Lane had actually been lobbying for the multicoloured hair braids for about a year and a half every time we passed one of those shopping centre kiosks that did them. So while we discuss if this is what we want to spend the day's budget on, let's take a look at a few of the beautiful 50s advertising billboards integrated into Movie World's Main Street theming. Anyway, you won't be surprised to learn which way the discussion went.
It looks so good. It was amazing.
Yeah?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah,
It looks so cool.
Where's Mum?
Just going to get some chips and then wait in the queue for the stunt show. And yes, hearing that back, I am 100% aware that may be one of the Aussiest sentences ever said in a theme park. Just going to get some chips and then wait in the queue for the stunt show. But while we were waiting for Indy's braids to be completed, Connor and I got distracted by the Joker, who was back with Harley Quinn and started some sort of dance party this time in the street. By the way, shout out to these two cast members. Their chemistry, comic timing and performances right across the day were world class. I think a sign of a good theme park is having so many options that you nearly miss the ones you're intending on getting to. So that's a point to Movie World.
I just got my hair finished.
Whoa, I love it. So cool. And it matches your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go and find Mum. Straight ahead. Hi, good on you. Thank you. Let's go, girls. Luckily, we were able to refocus long enough to get to the Hollywood Stunt Driver 2 show before it started. Just. When Warner Brothers Movie World first opened in 1991, the stunt show was one of the original attractions. But it was a very different version than the one we're about to see today. And I know it's absolutely the nostalgia speaking, but for a generation of Aussie kids and big kids, the Police Academy stunt show was the single greatest stunt show of all time. There were stunt performers doing physical comedy, big falls, stunt driving, and I really believed that the volunteer from the audience fell off the roof and nearly killed themselves as production staff ran out to help him. And the show culminating in a helicopter crash with a fireball will be etched in my memory forever. We'll put a link to this video in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. Or, super surprising fact, even though it closed after running for 18 years in 2008, you can still actually see it at Park Warner Madrid in Spain, where it's been running for 23 years. With that in mind, the Hollywood Stunt Driver 2 show has some big shoes to fill. Where are we?
We are at Stunt Driving 2.
Probably needs to be a bit louder.
Wait, what?
Do you think it needs to be louder?
No.
So good news, audience volunteers are still a thing. But disappointingly, none of them are undercover stuntmen and women hiding in the crowd. So that feels like something they could bring back. The concept is that we're crowd extras in a car race sequence for a film, so that's cool. And during the race, shots of us cheering are edited into what plays out on a big screen built into the set. The stunt drivers are out of this world. I'm no stunt driver, but I've driven a car. And this appears to be a particularly tiny space to park, let alone perform drifting manoeuvres at speed alongside another car and around people. And there's some genuinely funny physical comedy.
Still going. And it's still going. Really milking it.
But while no one fell off any buildings and there weren't any fireballs, it was an excellent stunt show and executed by cast and performers who are clearly some of the best in the business. So with the exception of burning rubber smell, which is going to come with the territory, Hollywood Stunt Driver 2 nails another point for Movie World.
Now is the time to get that SeaWorld feeling.
Now, this is going to be the weirdest part of SeaWorld ever featured in a theme park review, because it's not a thing, sort of. The SeaWorld Monorail, which has a massive presence right throughout the park as you walk mere feet below its track on your way into Seal Stadium for the Seal Show. The massive food court has the best seats in the house for it to come racing right through the middle. And to get to Dolphin Beach Stadium, you literally walk all the way alongside it. The only thing wrong with the SeaWorld Monorail, it's not there. Like everything else around the world, at some stage during 2020, SeaWorld, and by extension the monorail, went into lockdown.
All Gold Coast theme parks have now been closed from today for an indefinite period.
And like a bunch of other stuff around the world at the time, operators took this opportunity to just not bring things back and hope no one noticed. And if it weren't for the 2-kilometre circuit track dominating the park, maybe we wouldn't have. But in late 2024, SeaWorld posted this to their Insta.
Hey there, SeaWorld fans. Jonathan here with an update regarding the monorail here at SeaWorld. Our team have been working through multiple options to find a solution to extending the life of the attraction.
By the way, at this early stage, Jonathan's got me believing this is a good news post.
However, this couldn't be achieved.
It's not.
So the team are now commencing the process to remove the track on the eastern side of the park.
By the way, if I ever have some bad news to deliver, I'm sending Jonathan in. You can see why SeaWorld gave him the call-up.
As the last operating monorail in the country, it holds a special place in our hearts and the memories of our guests.
And that's where they'll stay, because you'll never see the monorail again. But despite this bizarrely positive bad news update, this is still scoring a point.
Bye for now.
And I know this is probably more about my personal fascination with abandoned infrastructure, but operating or not, the track, and way more importantly, the actual monorail itself, still sitting at the last station it unsuspectingly stopped at one day, never to be powered on again, has a nostalgic value money can't buy. Well, it could, but apparently it'd be too much money, so...
The support for the infrastructure that we had in place was no longer available worldwide.
But the connection that Australia's first ever monorail has with every one of the 23 million guests who rode it from her first lap in 1986 makes it one of the country's most important pieces of nostalgia.
It takes the new SeaWorld monorail.
Did they let Joe Bjelke-Peterson drive the monorail?
The then Premier takes the new SeaWorld monorail for a spin.
It survived that, but couldn't survive the pandemic. But it's all still here, even the plaque from that inaugural trip on the news. So, while the official line is that she's headed to the junkyard, as long as the SeaWorld monorail remains tucked away in the corner station being reclaimed by Mother Nature, I'll continue holding out hope for a stay of execution. In the battle of Movie World versus SeaWorld, Movie World doesn't get a completely free kick when it comes to character appearances and photo opportunities. Yes, they have the biggest names for a number of generations. As we mentioned at the beginning, they don't get much bigger than the big three, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Or if you're Indiana and Connor Lane, Supergirl. Sorry, Superman. Harley Quinn is right up there too, by the way. The girls had a second picture with her and the Joker in the afternoon. Movie World are getting their money's worth out of the Joker and Harley Quinn. They were busy that day. And the superheroes are backed up by arguably the most famous cartoon character in history. Take it easy, Mickey. I said arguably. And Bugs' mates Daffy, Sylvester and Tweety are huge draws, not to mention Shaggy and Scooby as well. But SeaWorld has some seriously big hitters too. In fact, I'd argue that for a generation, the Paw Patrol, the Turtles, and SpongeBob are actually a bigger deal. Not to me, of course, I'm a Batman guy. Connor and Indiana will walk past Batman to get to Harley Quinn, but SpongeBob is definitely an equal draw. So with all that in mind, both parks pick up a point for star power. If you love parades, Movie World will get the edge over SeaWorld, who don't do a parade.
Keep on heading if you want, I drive it like a nut. I don't wanna hear you, just like I'm Bango, cutting my hair. I just keep going though, 소식권을 믿고 I fly non-stop. Kelly에서 New York, 구름 위로 hop on. Drive out and riding birds, honeyberry counting gobs. I do what I wanna do, 그게 나의 문의원. 너는 꿈꾸자, 다가 sound smile, lullaby.
The best part about Movie World's parades are that they go down Main Street, hit a roundabout, and have to come all the way back up. So you essentially get 2 bites of the parade cherry.
To be better than 3D. Is it like the same as 3D?
It's got 3D because you've got the glasses. But what could the 4th dimension be?
Like water and stuff?
Here we go.
It's rated G.
Go. G for go. Nostalgia Dad here again. Movie World's 4D Roxy Theatre has run a bunch of 4D films here since opening day in 91, but far and away the most famous has been the Shrek 4D experience. And this pre-show area we're walking into here was super different. It was all themed as Lord Farquaad's dungeon, where the three little pigs were all being held captive in crates, suspended from the ceiling, with Gingy on a security camera communicating with the pigs, who escapes and then tells us,
Hey, what are you people doing here? Get out before it's too late!
Anyway, the mirror on the wall gets involved and a bunch of other stuff happens. It was significantly more elaborate and immersive before closing in 2010. It's been a featured attraction at Universal Studios theme parks around the world and is still running in Universal Singapore as well as Osaka at Universal Studios Japan. Tom and Jerry 4D is new to the park this year, and it's just running some video question and answer content on Gingy's old screen before we're let into the theatre. But it's a visually spectacular looking film adapted from the 2021 Tom and Jerry film, so it should be amazing with the 4D additions. Now, I'm going to assume you don't have your personal 3D glasses handy, so I won't torture you too long with the 3D footage, but you can see the type of effort gone to introduce the extra dimension. Lighting in the film is perfectly synchronised with real-world light flashes inside the actual cinema. And the seats rise and drop suddenly at the exact time Tom or Jerry fall or get hit by something. Okay, every time Tom falls or gets hit by something. And the animation is set in real-world environments, so it's the most realistic version of Tom and Jerry I've ever seen. Ever.
There were like whippy things under my legs, and like there was air like at the seats, and then there was air like underneath, and it would like whip your legs. And I don't know how they did that. And then they had water spraying on you. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So at SeaWorld, the clock is ticking, and there's only time for the Thunder Lake Stunt Show and maybe one last ride. But we're not skipping out on the water skiing because it's really impressive and really important.
No, you don't have to do this, just watch it.
Because the water ski show in one form or another is actually older than any other attraction in the park, as it's the original attraction. In fact, before 1972, SeaWorld Australia was called Skiland. And ever since, the water ski show has been synonymous with SeaWorld Australia and the SeaWorlds in the US. I still remember reading comics that had advertisements for the superhero ski show in them. Of course, these were US comics with ads for the SeaWorlds in Orlando and Ohio. So our water ski shows never featured a human pyramid constructed from Aquaman, Batman, Robin, The Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, you get the idea, but we did have the equally impressive and death-defying human pyramid, just superhero-less. So it's pretty cool to be sitting here over 50 years later watching a world-famous tradition that SeaWorld Australia helped pioneer. And not surprisingly, our show today is Aussie as. Instead of Superman, leader of the Justice League, we have Barracuda, leader of the River Rats, involved in some sort of turf war. Or I guess, lake war between them and the All-Stars. There were lots of highlights like the All-Stars BMX guy doing stunts in the rain and landing them. The water skiers attempting crazy moves. And if they didn't work, stepping the degree of difficulty up a notch and then landing it. The single most awesome and hilarious fire-blasting truck boat we've ever seen. Make that the only fire-blasting truck boat we've ever seen. And water skiing barefoot so fast that even once they let go, they were able to skim across the lake's surface onto the landing pontoon and pull a psych on the River Rats leader, who stole the show, by the way, in part because his voice sounded strikingly similar to Bluey's dad, Bandit.
Good morning, everybody. Say good morning, everyone.
And as for that one last ride, there was only one choice.
We are now here, and I just realised that's a girl and that's a boy.
Last ride of the day.
Roller coaster of the day.
Alright, let's go.
And earlier I went on this really cool boat ride, but Dad couldn't film on it, so...
That is true. There was no way you could film on SeaWorld's jet ski coaster without a chest mount, which is how we captured Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. Subscribe for more of that. But A, without that type of mount, and B, without prior authorization, there's no way anyone's filming on this coaster, because as you can see from the Coaster Studios SeaWorld visit, it's super surprisingly fast and exerts way higher G-forces than we ever imagined. It's tucked away in the corner of the park, but was unbelievably fun and absolutely the hidden gem of SeaWorld rides. That was pretty surprisingly fast ride, wasn't it?
It was the best.
So as Indiana and I run down the clock to our final SeaWorld experience.
There they go! It's the coolest ride ever!
Obviously, it's a similar story at Movie World. And with the park closing in half an hour and everyone heading for the car park, now is our time to shine. My favourite and our final ride of the day is at the furthest back corner of the entire park, but its theming and sheer massiveness makes it worth every step. And because everyone else is clearing out, its notoriously long wait time should be down. Indiana wasn't cool riding this with me, and Connor Lane was reluctant. But up for the challenge, pretty much. All right, you ready to get on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Howdy, partners. Welcome to the Wild West.
Dramatic music stuff.
That makes it even more dramatic.
There they go. You gonna wave? Connor's waving at you.
To save the ride's dramatic music, cutting out unexpectedly again, we'll just add some of our own. Oh, it's a dead end. Oh well, we'll have to go back. As rough as guts. If you're an international viewer wondering what the Aussie term rough as guts means, it means that that part of the ride was rough. As guts, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory when you say it like that. It may have just been where we were sitting at the very back, so I can't say for sure that the rest of the boat's passengers experienced what I did.
Well, it can't be bumpier than that backwards ride we just had. That was crazy.
That was no bumpy.
Okay, turns out, not the entire back row. The highlight of any theme park for me is the feeling of being transported into another time or place. And Movie World has done such an awesome job dropping us into the wild western town of Dodge City. Saloon doors are swinging open with the sound of an old-fashioned to-do inside.
Sounds like there's a fight in the pub.
Stray bullets shoot holes in the water tower.
Unless...
And confusingly, every sound effect seemed to have a dog in the background, which I actually loved. And you can see where this is going. Up. And then up a whole stack more.
A few moments later.
Should we wait till the bottom of the drop to give Wild West Falls its point? Oop.
Ready?
Finger slipped.
This is it. You waving? Yeah.
Indiana should be the one getting a point for working out the order of the boat numbers and telling my wife that ours was exiting the mountain next and being 100% correct. It really is one of my favourite log flume rides in the world, which is a blessing and a curse because here we are. An impossible draw. As a St Kilda supporter, I can confirm no one likes a draw.
It's going to be a draw. It's unbelievable. But it's happened.
Yeah, I still can't watch that. So, to help you decide on that one park we spoke about at the start, I will cast a deciding vote. About a week after our visit, Warner Brothers Movie World opened the Wizard of Oz precinct. By all reports, it has the best theming the park has ever seen. Plus, 2 new family coasters, Flight of the Wicked Witch and Kansas Twister. So, if you're a coaster family, Movie World may have just made your decision for you. But, simply based on our visit to both parks across the 2 days, the best way I can explain it is that SeaWorld just felt like a world-class theme park. It really was just a feeling that if we can walk away from an overcast, drizzly day having loved our experience that much, then the bonus point goes to SeaWorld. The good news is there's no wrong decision when we're privileged enough to have these sorts of options in our backyard. For other destinations and adventures, hit subscribe and come with us.
Yes, I had an amazing day. Now it's off to the apartment.